Yeah, good day, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're watching. Sorry, we are starting today's session late. Um, Over here today, welcome to the day 8 of the 30-day backtest challenge with Divine Crypto, which is a challenge aimed at helping struggling traders who are finding it difficult understanding proper market price action and being able to carve themselves a working edge or a working trading model for themselves. And so far on and through this series, we've been delving through various and diverse price action, taking notes, studying, and learning directly from price action on various features, characteristics, and complex reasons that we should take note of for various models that we come across. What we are basically saying is if we come across this model working, yes, we very well know that price is fractal. Whatever happened before can happen again. So we are taking the stress to go through price, go through previous price action, study and extract the points, the factors, and the reasons why price acted the way it acted so that we may be able to carve ourselves a working model. And today, what I'll be sharing is a very in the nick of time for we're in the nick of time for the bull run to commence, and we've seen Bitcoin create new all-time highs. Yes, there's been a couple of lag or slow price reaction from most of the altcoins that we have sitting at very good levels. So now, this is one of the reasons why this backtest challenge is one which you should key into because it's coming at a very crucial time for us as traders. Now, what I will be sharing today is an example or a replica of how a singular altcoin move or a strategic altcoin movement can be used to create yourself a singular working model that you can use for this whole bull run if you can put in the work. It's literally like so clear, so simple, and I really don't know, but a lot of altcoins are at the verge of exploding due to current market conditions. It's no new thing to anyone to know that in the time or in the period of the bull market, the sequence is we all see price of Bitcoin and attention going to Bitcoin creating new highs, all-time highs, and all of that. Then the attention now flows into altcoins and other industries. So now we've seen the price delivery on Bitcoin. I don't really have too much to expect again from Bitcoin. We almost saw 100K for one Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin has tried. Now there are alts that are lying low, very valuable gems that can, prefer and provide, solid trade entries, good risk to reward, and even, very much um, solid yields on investments for persons who will take the stress to actually see these things. So, but now the stress of seeing these things is something that very well might be a bit tasking for traders, which is the reason why this backtest challenge, as said, is coming at a very crucial time. And there's something I would like to note, which is I made a study and I was able to extract a couple of altcoins that I will be watching and I will be studying on my own end to see their price action, and I'll be sharing these materials straight to members of the Divine Trader community. So if you're watching this video and you would like to get access to some of these 10x gems that will not just come from a place of vibes and inshallah, but actual study, so that in this coming bull market, you might have somewhere you want to place your holdings to have them work on you for you. So now, these altcoins that I will be listing out would not just be, listed out in random forms. They would also be technically checked and technically fact proven to see that, okay, yes, internally we are expecting price move because it's a combination of both fundamental analysis and technicals that will be used to give the base for this coin, since these are things that stem up long-term investments. They don't have to be based on technicals alone. So if you are looking at getting access to that information, comment the word community, and you get the link to the trading community shared across to you ASAP, ASAP. So now, moving into what we have for today, um, like I shared, or like I said, it is a simple working model of trading that I saw on one altcoin. And after a few check-ins, I also saw that this model can very well be replicated in, you know, can also be replicated with various other altcoins. And now, over here, let's take a look, please. This is price on the Zilliqa slash USDT trade. Now, we want to take note of why price broke above this high and how one would have been able to, get a re-entry, because I studied a couple of altcoins and really I saw that they were presenting the same models, like the same price action was what was represented on most altcoins. I'll share it with you on this discussion so that it's not something that's coming out of the place of bluff. So that you now know that, oh, these are things that, like I said, price is fractal and can happen again and again and again and again and again. So what we are looking at doing is right, sorry. So what we are looking at doing is right before the bull market actually sets in, there's still a couple of altcoins that have not yet displayed their own wild price action. They are still very much sitting calm, low, but very well their price action is wild. And they are even already exhibiting some of these traits that all coins that have already, exploded in this season are also exhibiting. So what we have to do is, okay, study the ones that have had this price movement and replicate the understanding of what we saw from price action on these ones or on these altcoins that have delivered on price, and take note of them and use them to now wait for this price or for these altcoins that are yet to deliver their wild price expectation in this bull run. So now, over here, we are talking on Zilliqa for today, and we are looking at knowing why price broke above this low consolidation period and came back to this point to mitigate this point, and it's moving to the upside ever since. So now, let me share something else. Let me share something else so that it is a bit clear on what I am saying to um, make sense. We can see the price action on Zilliqa. You can see this is the price action on ZIL and everything the Zilliqa price had made us. And also, this is another chart. This is the price action on Arbitrum. But we can see that it's the same, literally, like there is a resemblance in this price action. If you can see the same thing that I am seeing, very well, do well to take note of it, make it known on the comments whenever and wherever it is that you are watching, so that I know that, okay, yes, the people that are watching this actually are following through with me on what I am saying. So we can see that, this is really just the same price action that we saw on the previous chart. It's a different chart that we are looking at very well at this point. So, but now, these are now coins that may have, yielded their own potential, because I kid you not, any coin that has moved from this low point to a high like this has yielded to a very large extent, because that move is not a 10% move, most likely. If we should check and sorry, all right, back to Zilliqa price action. Sorry. So if we check all of this movement, it's not like a 10% move or a small move that you say, okay, yes, price has not delivered to a very, 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 very deliverable desired extent or something. No, it's not something like that. Basically, what we are seeing here is, oh, price is actually outdoing itself. Let's take a look at this. This, I mean, is like a 90% price move on Z. And this is simply just from, I mean, this month, just this month. That's just the surreal thing about this. So now, the aim for us is to catch the ones that are yet to do this or make this movement. It's going to be hard, but using the strategy I will be sharing from this price identification, it is something that we can go back to our drawing boards, sit ourselves down, and fetch out some of the list of assets that can also give us this price delivery. But like I said, this is tough work, this is much work, and this is boring work, which is why this is something I'm looking at taking off the stress for persons who are actively looking to take advantage of this bull market. Kindly comment community and get the link to the community for the Divine Trader platform, where I will be sharing a list of these altcoins that will be giving very, 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 very handsome price yields and price reward in this upcoming bull run, courtesy of proper market study and um, fundamental analysis backing it up. So now, this is what I was saying was that, oh, this asset most likely has yield. So what we are looking at doing is studying the price action here and taking note of it and waiting for various other assets that are yet to yield to give us or present us certain price actions and characteristics on the chart so that we know that, oh, this is exactly what I should be seeing, or this is what exactly I should see for me to load my bags up on this asset and scale to the moon. Now, over here, you can see that price had this, massive downtrend previously, and there was this consolidation area over through this point. But now we are going to take note of this, which is, like I said, the origin of price action. That is what we want to take note of. Starting from the origin of price action, how price behaved, and the patterns price presented us, flowing into entry points and areas where we should look into getting entries on um, trades like this is what we are looking at today. So now, if we are going to take note of this price action, we can see that yes, price had dropped, and over here, this is the pattern towards which price presented us. You might take note of this, you might not take note of it, but very well, for certain reasons I want to. Now, so basically that this is the price action that was displayed for this pattern to work. So now, most likely, this is something that will be very much studied on a lengthier to extract the features, the characteristics, and um, confluence reasons for price behaving this way. So, but we have very, very capped time on this live every day. So what I do here is share to you, the peripheral delivery or understanding of price action. And I also said that for the members of the Divine Trader community, every price drill that we focus on over and across this 30-day backtest challenge session will be documented, and the factors or pointers for price action for that particular asset model or approach that we are studying from will be documented and shared to the members of this community. So please, I don't see any reason why simply dropping off a comment community and getting access to a community of very, 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 very valuable materials and resources in this time of the bull market should be something you want to snooze yourself on. So now, very well, we can see this is the price action that we are taking note of. Some of the things that we are taking note of is what occurred over here, and this is the interpretation of this from origin. We can see that at this low, let's verify or validate if price broke above this high. Let's see over here we have a high. Kindly take note of the OHLC levels on this chart. So we can see a high over here of 0.01824, a high of 1823 over here, and 1827 over here, 1819. So what is this saying? That for this pattern, what we are taking note of first is that price has to subtly invalidate this point over here, and move down to create us this second break on this same structure. Then at the break of the structure, we can see price creating us this week, this long week with certain other blocks here. And now, what next to note is the delivery over here, which is price creating us this one leg up, two leg up, and this three leg up. But now we are even seeing that these three legs that were raised up here didn't come above this high. That's another thing to take note of. We will study this up until we arrive at what made price or reasons why we can understand price delivering at this point. So now this pattern that's shown here is now one that we should also take note of, that for a model like this to work, price after breaking above this low should create us, maybe you want to name this a three leg or three short leg pattern, whatever name you want to call it, because really all of the names and strategies you hear are people just formulating their shit. That's just the truth of the matter. Whether it's order block, support and resistance, candlesticks, chart patterns, bullish flag, whatever name and pattern you come across in this market as a trader was simply formulated by one other guy somewhere. So basically, that is just coming from a place of how he understands price action. So if you want to call it anything you want to call it, but the aim of it is understand what you are saying, understand what you are doing, and understand what price is also doing. So now back to what I was saying. If you want to target that, oh, price has to create this, three-legged pattern over here, no challenge, that's your representation. So, but what you are taking note of is that, oh, price had to come back and tap into this point. Now, most likely, some persons will have gotten entries from this point very well. But now, that is something that you cannot confirm, except you have a model that you have studied such price delivery towards this low point. And you know that, oh, if this is your three-legged pattern, after the first leg, second leg, and third leg, price will most likely drop back into this second region to pick back up and move. No challenge. That's your model. Kudos to you. You were able to see that type of price action on time. That's right. So, but now over here, this is like a continuation move to confirm that, oh, because you would really see so many price action of altcoins giving you these same patterns. So how would you know which would be valid? Very well, a little bit of patience, because as we all know, trading is 80% waiting and 20% actual execution. So actually waiting for price to present you this would be, adding more confidence reasons to your buyers, which is, oh, even if I know that price has to come down and break this point, very well, this break above this consolidation period is one thing I must see for me to validate that this price or this altcoin would, yield for me. Now we can see that, okay, price coming to break below this low point and tap back into this point. We are able to break above this high. We are able to break above this high that has been created at this point. I think that was 1827. That was the point. 1827 was the high. All right. So now you can see that yes, price came to break above that point and swiftly came to tap into this area and move back to the upside. So this is where my area of concentration is, because really the break above this point will give me validation that, oh yes, price about to do something different, and oh, where can we now tag along from? Now what I'm noting of or taking note of is this, I call it king order block, which is a model I was able to pick or learn from um, the liquidity provider concept platform. And over here, we are going to drill down this concept. Now, the concept of king order blocks is where you have two intersecting order blocks, sorry, two intersecting impulsive candlesticks or fair value gaps that create almost equal wicks on opposite sides. And I share that again on the um, daily time frame so that it is understood what it is I am saying. So now we can see these two other blocks here. We can see that the wick for this other block and the wick for this other block are standing at almost equal points on opposite sides. So when you see something like this, that's what's called a king order block. So now that's one thing I'm taking note of on this price action. But really, it doesn't have to just be a king order block. Where my bone of contention is was the delivery of what broke above this high that we saw here or that we are seeing. This high, what broke above it. And now price on this particular approach is showing us the king order block on the daily time frame. If we should check other assets, we could see maybe a fair value gap and other block. But one thing I'm taking note of is currently, one thing price is doing is reacting to the immediate point or structural points that broke above the previous structure. So now, this was the previous structure or immediate structure point that was created before this break of structure. So now this is where price is most likely coming back to react to before continuing its move to the upside. So now this is what we are drilling in for today. If you are just watching this, kindly hit the subscribe button and join in on the 30-day backtest challenge to help struggling traders understand price action and be able to carve themselves a working model on this chart. So now, first things first, I'll always say my charts here will look very, very messy because this is like a rough walk. I'm not trying to prophesy price action. I'm only trying to dissect previous price action and share with the persons over here. So now, I was saying that this other block here, I'm not going to lie, would have been one of the places I have my interest on for this asset. Should have been one of the places I have my interest on this asset. But now we are not looking to, push our understanding or what we want on market or on the market over here. No. What we are looking at doing is watching price and taking note of what price did or how price moved, so we don't have to contrast whatever opinions that we may have as personal bias. This is just keep your mind open and learn. That's basically the drill for this period. So now over here, I can say I want to backdate price action. I can say I want to backdate price action over here. And one other thing we take note of is on the lower time frame, after price had created that entry, that break above the high, created all this, little move here. Price broke this mini structure, but that's not even it. Where my interest is for this stock is this liquidity pool over here, which is something that should be taken note of. this liquidity pool over here where price created us this liquidity point. This is another thing to add to the books on this model of trading. Another thing to add to the books, that's one. The next is when we now dissect this king order block on the lower time frame, we can see that price is creating us a small, structural print that we should pay attention to also. Yes, so you see this print here. This is something for me I will be taking note of as you know confluence reasons on lower time frame to know where my entries will revolve around, because like we said, price is fractal. So if this thing is showing over here on this price action, there is a high tendency that if you should come across this same market scenario in another asset, on another price action, on another chart, this would be the end result. So that's why we are taking note of some of these little factors to help us, improve our expertise, to help us improve our expertise. So now we can see that okay, price after creating this high point of liquidity over here, and this other point of liquidity, because this here too is another point of liquidity that price engineered for us. So, but some of these things will be fully concrete as working models at the end of the 30-day session, where we can be able to know that, oh, these reasons did not just show in one place. They showed in this price action, they showed in the next price action, they showed in another something that should be functional. The upside liquidity pool and this downside liquidity pool. So that one other thing we can take note of is when we go down to the lower time frame, 15 minutes, let's see if we have other pointers on this chart. Please, thank you for joining. If you're just joining us, kindly hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, as on this YouTube channel, the aim for me as a 5-year crypto enthusiast, blockchain educator, and trader, the aim for me is to share bits and pieces of things that I learn and come across in my um, study of price or over the years of my expertise in this industry. So now, one thing I want to take note of is this point over here, because this was where price came back to tap into before moving to the upside. So now, I'm not the one formulating these things. These are things that we are seeing clearly. We're just trying to make sense of it. Which is now, first, the concept of having this very, very solid order block now engulfed by one, two, three candles is something that is not a new concept. I've mentioned that over and across this backtest period, even, which is a multiple breaker block. And we can see that that was where price came to tap into on this delivery to the upside. So, but now one thing I want us to take note of is we can see that the price action or the mini price action price action that we took note of just a while ago is something that may have importance, because okay, at the creation of this high, price created this low and came back to create this high, and we can see that this point actually mitigated this point over here. Would that be called a mitigation or an invalidation? Let's check and validate whatever it is that we are saying. I think this should be blue so that it is differentiated, easily differentiated. So now the low on this candle here is 0.01578. That's the low point. And the low on this candle here is 0. 1578. Oh God. The thing with this price action is that sometimes when it shows you some of these things, it really becomes funny because you're like, oh, this information was there all the whole time. I just wasn't the one paying attention to it. You get so now that's to tell you that okay, one other thing we're adding to the bag for this to work is that there should also be, you know, this liquidity point created. That's what I'm taking note of this. But now, like I said, when we come across this model on not just one chart, maybe on one, two, three, four, five, six other price action, then we can now confirm that yes, for this model to work, we really have to see exactly this range or list of price delivery stemming from the higher time frame characteristic. Sorry, please. Okay, I can hear you now. Stemming from the higher time frame characteristics to lower time frame price delivery, we would now be sure that for this model to actually work for us, this is something that we have to see and we have to take note of on price. Sorry. All right. So we've taken note of this low that has to be created at this point because that was where price came back into. And the truth is, price moves from liquidity portals to liquidity portals. That's just one truth of this market. From liquidity portals to liquidity portals, in the sense that um, you might see price lagging for days, weeks, just trying to make its way through a very simple place. But once price gets to a particular region and taps into the liquidity of that region, you begin to see a very impulsive move on the price action. Why? That is basically because, okay, the liquidity over there has been, collected. The liquidity has been tapped into. So price is now free or pumped up with what it needs to move to the upside. All right. So now I'm scrolling on my lesser time frame to see if I can get a refined entry for this model. But price is still giving me that same multiple breaker block. So don't have to fight it. I don't have to now say I must see another block that is singularly engulfed by the second candles. No, this is what price is showing me. All I have to do is study, take note of this, and add to my bag. So now what am I taking note of is okay, price is giving me this whatever you want to call this. You might call this a crown, inverse crown model. Whatever English you want to call it, it's basically just how you are able to understand price action. So now, but then this is where your interest is to be at, because that was really where price delivered on. So I'm saying that was where price delivered on. Please let us fact check this so that we very well are not operating with vibes and inshallah. Let us fact check and see actual price delivery on this. It's a backtest session. There's no offside, there is no red card, there is no yellow card for checking through to see um, the actual delivery of price. Okay. All right. So now that means I was very much correct because this was the point where price came back into. So now back to our study drill. Um, sorry, back to our study drill. Well, one of the reasons why you see me still trying to, you know, dive deep into lower time frame is because I understand the concept of risk management very, very well. I understand the concept of risk management, and I would not like to overexpose myself to risks in this market. No, there would always be opportunities. So even if I'm going to take this trade, it shouldn't get me bumped. It shouldn't blow my account. You understand? So refining entries to get a better or the best possible points where you have to take your trades from is something that traders do not have to sleep on, because that same trade you are taking from that point will be very, very exposed stop loss region, or if price should go south, that means you are giving yourself an increased or sorry, an exposed or increased um, opening to take in losses. So, but if you have at least a conservative model of taking in risk, which is something that's a key factor for success in trading, understanding how to approach risk, that may be something we talk and discuss over and across this series, should we have time. And so, but now back to what I was sharing or what we were sharing. Um, that was the reason why I was looking for much more lesser entries on lower time frame, so that my entry is not, you know, it's not too porous, it's not too open, it's not too um, exposing to risk and all of those. So now, one other thing to take note of is this week that price created us on the higher time frame. I will come back to that shortly. Let's not break the flow over here. So, but that week where price created, really, I think was where like the point that started this whole, you know, um, three-legged move on the downside. If we had to check properly, um, let this load. All right, so this is the week I was talking about. So now that week was created and this price action was created. So this is something that would also be added to the books on this price action delivery. That week has to be formed where it nukes price from these lows, because all these lows that we can see here is price liquidity. Price nukes it, creates a new high, and comes to create us another point with equal lows, because when we checked over here, we saw that the lows on this price action was on this point. Sorry, we're having the same point. So now, what was I saying? So now, for us on today's price drill, this is what we have to take note of. But verily, one thing I'm taking note of is the entry point, which is now this particular um, multiple block breaker block that was created by price, and seemed to have it be that, oh, that was where price reacted. So, but now I was saying or talking about the risk exposure. If after much checking, this entry would have been something that would have got me pumped. See it now. I'm saying that, oh, we're talking about like a 1.4% price delivery on this. I'm not going to lie. This is very, 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 very wide. Like it's a very, 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 very wide risk point or risk exposure percentage for me as a trader. So now I'm going to give it another shot to check through on lesser time frame to see if that particular entry point can be further refined to help and reduce the risk exposure. Because, oh God, all right. So whilst we are holding on, I was saying that I'll be drilling down into lesser time frame to actually look for pretty much refined entries if I can find on this particular model. And the reason is because I myself am keen with refinement, and this is something I believe most traders should also not neglect, which is the art of refinement. Finding ways to reduce or minimize your risk exposure on your entries is something that should be a must for you on every trade. The reason why is because there is no that's said to be 100% working. That's right. Yes. Every model would have its time where it floods, where it has its blips and all of those. Now, in all of these times when your model of trading will be ineffective or inefficient or have its blips, if you have an overexposed approach to trading, if you don't work with a refined model of entries and having it be that, oh, your risk is very much conserved or conservative, then you will now know that at the period where you have or experience these bad things or bad times, being able to, save the day and not blow your account becomes an issue because only one trade you are taking a very, very massive loss. Another trade that's ending in loss, another massive loss. But if you're able to bring down the scope, ratio, and percentage of whatever it is that you are losing on whatever model of trading that you work with, price retail price action trading, SMC concept, whatever concept you work with, but having it be that, oh, you find a way to refine your model to help you reduce your risk exposure is something that's a must for traders. Now, I'm trying to delve back into previous price action on lower time frame, and I am being snoozed to check that. So whilst we host, please, this is we're wrapping up already on today's edition. Thank you for joining. This is day 8 of the 30-day backtest challenge with Divine Crypto. I am a crypto trader, blockchain educator, and founder, head of marketing at Divine Trade Hub. And on this series, on this challenge, what we've been doing is studying through previous price action, taking note of these price points and pointers. And the aim is for us to be able to at least extract from these study and data a working price model for us to be able to carve our own approach to trading so that we now know that, oh, if this model works, this is why it works. This is the reason or the confluence reasons that we are supposed to see on price to actually. Sincere apologies for this delay. I don't know why this Sorry for the break in transmission. Back to our discussion. Now, I was sharing my screen and saying that we are coming to the end of today's discourse, and um, I wanted to check and see on lesser time frame what price is interpreting for us to see if we can get a much more refined entry point on that model that we just walked through, because the refinement is one which most traders tend to overlook, and I am not most traders that will tend to overlook it, because I understand the importance of refinement. So having it be that your entries come, with a refined um, backing would help you reduce your risk exposure. But now that's the bad thing about refinement. That's the bad thing. Taking from someone that is also canvassing and campaigning for refinement this way, which is you would tend to now most likely maybe have multiple entries, even though you're going to be having reduced risk exposures. You'll be um, faced with multiple entries. One, and also you might also have a lot of missed entries. Yes, that's one of the things that you should take note of on refined entries. But the truth of the matter is that should you properly understand your model and study how best to refine your entries with your model, then very well you would have very reduced cases of such missed entries and invalidated entries on your chart. Sincere apologies. I'm trying. I don't know what the cause is, but I want to be able to view this back on a lesser time frame. And the last point where we were able to get um, our view from was the 5 minute time frame. That was where we were able to get this point from. So now we are looking to see if on a much lesser time frame we can get a much refined entry. Whilst you wait, please do not forget to click the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and also if you are watching this discussion, kindly note that this is day 8 of the backtest session, and like I said and promised, the day-to-day study or models that we study on this backtest challenge, at the end of this 30-day backtest session, I would have to compile them into a compendium. Yes, compile them into a compendium and sorry, and present to the members of the Divine Trader community. Now, this compendium will be compiled based on raw facts, and it will be consisting of factors, confluence reasons that we see on and across this 30-day period for various models. Like for I don't know, is it that Silica doesn't have a 1 minute chart? This is really annoying. Back to what I was saying, we can see that on this price delivery today, we talked about certain things. Oh, how price is supposed to come from the origin, create us one leg of an uptrend, two legs of an uptrend, break above this high, present us this, that three-legged pattern we talked about, and various other characteristics that we are taking note of, we are coming across on this session. So the aim is going to be having all of these factors combined, compiled, and boxed into one resourceful material for the members of the community who are going to have issues. Because really, what we are doing here is work. Coming here every day, spending 30 minutes to 1 hour going through price, understanding why price is taking its turns this way. work and it's something that most traders cannot do. So very well, that compendium will take up the stress of going through this rough work that I have taken the stress to go off, and basically just presents you with the finished um the finished material, which is oh god, I don't know. Sorry, so sorry for the whole delay and everything, but I am also under confusion and pressure at this point because I don't know why it is giving me a hard time for Silica to present me the 1 minute chart to see if there are any price action to take note of that time frame. And I would not simply want to settle for the entry we saw on the 5 minutes that just gave us a very wide exposed entry point. Ah, Voila. This is not going through. It's not going through. I'm finding it difficult viewing this price action on the 1 minute time frame. Uh, so I was saying that the compendium will consist of these factors that we are studying and taking note of, and they will be extracted for traders who would need to go through them and maybe have that boost one and reduce the workload that they are going to take on themselves if they were to buy themselves, go through price and study this price action, take note of price action and price delivery over on these assets. Very well, that's to take the stress off your shoulders. Find a way to become a community member, comment community, the link will be dropped to you, and do not forget to subscribe so that more of such resources, programs like this, and events that will be coming up, and even just random educational videos on YouTube for traders would help you get better at trading coming from the Divine Crypto YouTube channel. So do not miss this. This is really frustrating. This is really frustrating. Not reacting, price not responding to price action on this. I don't know because my time or my time here is fast spent, and we are ought to have wrapped up with what we have for today's delivery. It's very sad to see that yes, prices or the chart is okay. Really now, I will just have to settle for this because we have a 1 hour time frame for this live to be held every day, and this is 10 p.m. and we've really just covered everything or most of everything we're supposed to cover on today's section. Basically, what is left is to have seen a very much refined entry to take this trade from. But well, if this is something I'm able to um, see and come across at afterwards or at the end of this discussion, then I will very much share it over and across to the persons that will be attending the live quickly tomorrow to show that price delivery and see if we would have had a chance to have a much more minimized entry on the lower time frame. So now, basically, this is the view of price on this chart or on this particular altcoin. Now, this strategy of waiting to see where breaks above this consolidation point and waiting for price to come back into it creates you certain liquidity traps and all of those are really just the basic things. You might think that there's anything special. No, these are the basic things that you need to take note of. These are the basic things that you need to take note of and train your eyes to be able to easily see in cases where price or market will want to replicate or repeat these price actions on various other altcoins. So now, for today, we've studied Zilliqa and we've seen the price delivery on Zilliqa. But very well, this approach or model we studied is something that can also be replicated in not one, not two, not three, not four, but various other price action or various other altcoins and cut session. Then we are able to have these pointers help us make the most of the incoming bull market, where we now know that these are the criteria we should see if we are supposed to take such trades and blah blah blah. So whilst we are waiting for network, one other thing I want to take note of is on instances where you have very, very wide and exposed risk entries or entry levels like this, one thing that can come into your delivery or one thing that can save the day when you have very exposed price entries as your main direct entries on a trade is to wait for confirmation entries where price tap into that point and on lesser time frame you can now study price action and be able to get yourself a refined place or region to join in that sell, join in that trade, join in that buy from to have it be that, oh, I'm still on this trade, but then I'm not exposing myself to that crazy um, loss or risk exposure that I have if I was to take this trade directly. So now I don't want to take much of the time waiting for price to deliver. Like I said, these price actions are things that I am not formulating. These are things that if you log on to the TradingView website on your browser, you can also see this price action and take note of them. So for the sake of this whole technical issue that I am experiencing at this point in time, I would like to call it a day and close the live and have it be that tomorrow quickly I can just walk through person or walk through on this exact price delivery. So, but this is something that you can also take your time, go onto the TradingView platform and see for yourself. This is November 10th to November 24th. That's when this price action on Zilliqa is happening. So that's something that on your own you can take time to study and see the end delivery on that. Thank you very much for your time today. Sincere apologies for the whole back and forth.